Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy IntroSpecktive, and welcome back to the IntroSpecktive podcast over here, as always, on UCast Studios on YouTube. This is episode number 10. Can't believe it's already been 10 episodes, man. A little over 2 months now. I've been having a really nice time with this podcast. It's been a lot of fun to reach 10 episodes. Seems like it's gone sooner than or quicker than I anticipated, because I've been enjoying it much more than I thought. And yeah, it's just been a good time. So thank you guys for continuing to support the podcast over here. Make sure you subscribe to UCast Studios. We also just hit 10,000 subscribers recently as well. So 10 episodes, 10K subscribers. Make sure you subscribe so we can keep getting that number up. And I'll continue to keep getting the number of podcasts up as long as you guys enjoy them. And yeah, make sure you drop a comment as well. Show your friends if they're a fan of my channel that I also have a podcast over on here. Help the channel any way you can. I would really appreciate it, as well as everyone over here on UCast Studios. Make sure to check out the rest of the people over here on UCast Studios as well for all sorts of awesome variety podcasts. A lot of great stuff. So today, for episode 10, I thought I would continue my normal tradition of doing. Oh, sorry, a little burpy. I'm drinking this Peach Rings G Fuel. By the way, be on the lookout for a G Fuel code shortly here in the future. Not today, but something in the works that I'm doing and really excited about. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, I just thought I'd hop back on Twitter and get my favorite questions and do some Q&A style stuff as always. So without further ado, let's get into it. Omni says, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly, says, why did Nintendo fans go from weirdly obsessive but harmless to the most obnoxious things ever? If you don't excuse me, if you don't know what this guy is talking about, it's mainly on Twitter. I think what he's referring to is the amount of Nintendo fans who feel the need to, no matter what, regardless of the quality of the game or the way that Nintendo is going about. That was sick. That that uppy off the ledge and Top Smash. That was cool. These people, no matter what, will defend Nintendo for just about everything. And if you have anything negative to say about Nintendo, they will get on your case about it, because as a consumer, you're not allowed to complain or critique Nintendo. You should just be happy that the almighty billion-dollar gaming company even gave you a product in the first place. So quit your whining, quit your complaining. Just be grateful that you even have games in the first place. Nintendo can do no wrong. Just shut up, basically. I think that's who this tweet is referring to, and it's pretty abundant. You can't really have any harsh criticism of Nintendo without, at least one person saying you need to just stop and be grateful for what you have. I see this be the case for Pokemon a lot. Definitely Pokemon seems to be the biggest one. But a more recent example would be the way that they handled the Mario 3D All-Stars pack. And their limited release window, the fact that they're ports that aren't necessarily updated to modern standards, all sorts of things, that they were debatably lazy, and all these criticisms. A lot of what is this? A lot of Nintendo fans have opted to just, turn a blind eye to these criticisms and say, if you don't like it, don't buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. You're not allowed to enjoy the product or not enjoy the product. You're not allowed to critique it. If you don't like it, don't buy it, and just move on. Which, in a way is enabling Nintendo, because people who just keep mindlessly buying their products without, any kind of backlash or anything. It's letting Nintendo get away with their business practices, which can be seen as lazy or, a little anti-consumer. And a perfect example of this is the success of 3D All-Stars has led to Nintendo doing this limited release window once again, with a Fire Emblem game. I don't remember the name of the Fire Emblem game. It's an old Fire Emblem game, but they're doing like a collector's edition for it. It's also being sold in a limited release digitally, which is an issue. To put something digitally as a limited release for like a collector's edition, it makes no sense to me. If you're gonna make like a collector's edition, why not limit it based on quantity of physical copies so that it actually has some collector's value to it? They're limiting it in terms of time, so they can sell 1 million copies of it as long as it's before the time is up. And to me, that's a little anti-consumer, because you're forcing people to buy something that's collector's edition, but the only reason that's like limited is because you're just offering it in a short window. So you're making people rush to buy the product. It's a little unfair for people who don't necessarily want to buy too many products at once, but because of the limited release windows, people who just bought 3D All-Stars due to the release window, now they feel pressured. Oh, I have to buy this or I'm not going to get the chance to. So I think that it's a little anti-consumer from Nintendo, and I think that Nintendo fans, a lot of them have turned a blind eye to what Nintendo is doing, because it's Nintendo, obviously. It's their sacred Nintendo. They can do no wrong. It's their favorite gaming company. They've had such a great track record over the years. So for Nintendo to start doing these shadier business practices, oh, well, just think of all the good old days. Think of all the good things that Nintendo has done. Okay, well, you can't really live in the past anymore. You have to judge Nintendo on what they're doing these days, and what they're doing these days is a little more anti-consumer than usual. I'm not going to say it's like on the level of like EA or what Sony did with the Avengers Spider-Man DLC or anything like that, but it's still not necessarily worth praising. And I think that people becoming vocal about it is a good thing, because Nintendo obviously sees what's going on within the fan base. Actually, I would hope they are updating 3D All-Stars on November 16th, I think, to have inverted camera controls. Again, this is kind of just the stuff that I wanted them to do in the base game to make it feel like an updated collection. Like, where were these options at the start? I mean, it was rushed, I guess. I don't know. Or they just, didn't think of it, and then they got all this feedback, and now they're doing it. But I just don't understand why I wasn't in the base game. But for these people to, blindly defend Nintendo no matter what, it's insufferable. It's honestly insufferable. And on the flip side of the coin, you have people who aren't necessarily always defending Nintendo, but are always demanding of Nintendo. Just today, I was on Twitter, and I was looking at the replies to the update for the Mario game. And someone was like, okay, cool, but where's the next Smash character? And it's like, dude, Steve came out like 2 weeks ago, and you're acting like, or you're asking where the next Smash character, like, that to me is even more insufferable than the Nintendo fanboys, the Nintendrones, as a lot of people like to call them. Yeah, I think that's obviously an issue. Another issue or example is the bring back the National Dex people from the Pokemon community and everything. Just so demanding all the time. And where's the Direct? Where's this? Where's that? Never getting their fill, it seems. So on the flip side, you have those. So those are the two worst types of Nintendo fans. I think that they're pretty abundant these days. I think the second type isn't as predominant as it used to be, now that Nintendo's been releasing more stuff. But definitely the Nintendo defenders like to come out in droves and you know, come through with the just be grateful. Oh, if you don't like it, don't buy it thing. You know, it's just you're not allowed to critique Nintendo in the eyes of some people, and it's ridiculous to me. It's like you don't own Nintendo, okay? Like, why are you taking such offense to us not liking the game? Me not liking a game shouldn't affect you liking the game. If I want to laugh at how badly rendered and the textures in Sword and Shield are, then let me laugh at how badly rendered the textures in Sword and Shield are. Go play the game if you still like it. Like, me laughing at the game shouldn't make you stop playing it. But, you know, here we are, like, people still feeling the need to defend the game, and it's like, okay, well, I still am going to think what I think at the end of the day. And you defending it doesn't change my opinion. So, and it shouldn't change your opinion of the game in the first place. So I wish people would, like, understand that you can like a game that is criticized. And you can also like a game that you criticize. I still like Sword and Shield. I mean, I don't hate the game. I still played the entire game, and I still have memorable moments from that game. Did it, you know, live up to my expectations? Absolutely not. Not even in the slightest. But, you know, I don't 100% hate on that game. But I am gonna laugh at the quality of it. I mean, it's funny. So, you know, me not enjoying a game shouldn't change your perspective on it. That's what I think. I wish people would realize that. I don't understand why they feel the need to get so defensive. I guess it's because they like it so much and they feel like, I don't know, maybe they feel self-conscious that they like it or something. But for me personally, it's never stopped me from enjoying something that other people haven't liked. That's just my take on it. Thank you so much for that question. D. Saster says, so you claim to be plant gang in quotations, but your obsession and passion for Steve seems to suggest you main him, but also Charizard is the mascot for your channel, so which character is your main and why? The people deserve answers. This is actually a really funny question. First off, thank you for the question. Listen, when it comes to Smash characters and the characters that I main, just because I mained a character at one point and don't main them anymore, I like to have them part of my identity as a YouTuber and a Smash YouTube channel. Charizard was my original main. It's who I was known for many years. So I like to keep the Charizard profile picture on YouTube because, you know, that's how I came up. That's who I came up with, and I still love Charizard. I still play Charizard. I wouldn't consider him my main anymore because Pokemon Trainer, but I still, you know, Charizard is a huge part of my YouTube career and Smash career, and, you know, identity. So I like to keep Charizard as my YouTube profile picture, and that's never gonna change. It's just how I like to identify my channel. Piranha Plant, obviously, when he came out, was my main. I was all about Plant Gang. I still am about Plant Gang. I love Plant Gang. Nothing's changed with that. And now that Steve is out, the character that I advocated for the most, you know, I'm enjoying this character now too, and I might main Steve now, you know. But that doesn't mean I don't love Plant, and that doesn't mean I don't love Charizard, and that definitely doesn't mean that they're not going to be part of my channel anymore. I like to keep my identity, you know, memorable, and like I always, you know, have respect for the things that made me who I am today and got me to where I am. So that's why I keep the Charizard. That's why I always rep the Plant Gang. And yeah, even though Steve is like my big thing now, I will still always associate with Charizard and Piranha Plant, like no matter what. So yeah, right now I'd say I'm a Steve main. That doesn't mean I don't play Plant, and that doesn't mean I don't play Charizard. But you know, right now I just enjoy playing Steve the most, and that's that. I'm gonna continue to keep the Charizard picture because people know me as someone who loves Charizard, and I'm always gonna, you know, associate Piranha Plant with my stuff as well. Oh, that was a nice fair. Associate Piranha Plant with my channel as well, so nothing's gonna change. Just because I play a different character the most doesn't mean I don't love my old characters any less. And yeah, that's just how I always like to view my channel. Like, if I dedicated time to a character and made it a part of my channel identity and everything, they'll always be a part of it in some way. So yeah, Steve is the next part of that, and I think it's really fun. I think that's what brings a lot of my personal identity to my YouTube channel, is those characters. So that's what I like to do, and yeah, I hope that answered the question. Thank you so much, dude. Dark Phoenix says, what are your thoughts on the Final Fantasy franchise progressing toward real-time combat? Do you prefer it, or would you rather them maintain the turn-based combat system? For a long time, I was a Final Fantasy purist. I was a turn-based combat purist. My favorite Final Fantasy games are all turn-based. My top 3 being 10, 8, and 7. Those are all turn-based. Original 7. Although I might like the remake more. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna have to replay the remake. I really enjoyed the remake, but I don't mind that they're going into action-based now. After Final Fantasy VII Remake, because to me, the combat in 7 Remake was really more fun to me than turn-based. I actually enjoyed it more than turn-based combat. Maybe not 10's. I think 10 is like perfect turn-based, but definitely more than original 7, and more than 8 as well, and 9, and 6, and pretty much all the other ones. I wasn't sold on turn-based or on action-based when 12 came out, mainly because I don't like 12. That's not the only reason I don't like 12. There's a lot of reasons I don't like 12. That's probably my least favorite Final Fantasy game is 12. Well, maybe like 2 would probably be my least favorite. I think 2 is probably the worst game, but I think 2 is the worst game, but I think 12 is my least favorite. I don't like 12 at all. The only thing I really liked from 12 was the monster hunts. I thought that was fun. And not really for the combat itself, just like being able to like find all these epic monsters was really cool. Like, oh, like you see these giant monsters on the like the flyers or whatever, and you're like, oh, I want to go find that thing, and then, you know, it leads up to I forget the name of the final monster, but it takes like hours to beat it. But yeah, I was not sold on the whole idea of turn-based or action RPG elements when 12 came out, which was why I was such a purist for turn-based. I was like, why are they doing this? This sucks. Then you go back to turn-based. And then 13 came out. Wasn't a huge fan of 13 either. And then 15 came out, and 15 I really like as a game. I thought the combat could have been more fleshed out, but it was definitely the best combat of those 3. Well, 4, I guess, because 13 is a 2-parter. But yeah, I still felt like it could be a little more fleshed out and like you know, just intuitive. And then 7 Remake came out, and they finally got it right, in my opinion. Everything about the combat system in 7 Remake was perfect to me. I thought it was just absolutely phenomenal, and now I'm a huge fan of the turn-based combat system. I really hope that 16 has a similar formula to how 7 Remake was. Based off the trailer for 16, it looks more like 15's combat, so I hope that it's like a more fleshed out 15. If that's the case, I'll be happy, but I would really like to see them continue the trend of how they did Final Fantasy VII Remake. I thought that was super sick. Like, it was just so good, and I know that Remake Part 2 is probably just going to keep the combat the way it is. I hope. I mean, if they find ways to improve it, then I'll be happy. But for me, it's pretty much exactly what I would hope for in like action RPG combat. To me, it was the best it's been. It just made so much sense. I really liked the fact that you had to be active in order to like use abilities and stuff. You can't just stand in the corner spamming spells or anything. You had to, you know, actually fight and you know, be active in the fight to build your ATB gauge. and use spells and abilities and stuff. I just thought it was perfect. It was so cool. I loved switching between characters. I loved the play style of every character. Every character was super fun and unique to use. It was perfect. I do like in 15 how in the expansions you could switch between characters. I wish that was in the original game, but if 16, you know, you get to switch characters and everything, and they improve on the combat style of 15, I'll be happy with that. I will be happy with that, because I think that there was a lot of potential for combat. I believe that the person in charge of combat for Final Fantasy 16 is the Devil May Cry combat guy, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that that might be the case. And if it is, you know, that's promising. So I hope to see some improvement from 15. I really like 15's characters a lot. I really like that they focused a lot on like open world elements and like sandbox stuff. Just running around doing quests with the squad was really fun to me. I really, you know, wasn't a fan of the story, especially the third act. I thought the third act was terrible story-wise. Running through that hallway and everything, God, it was horrible. But yeah, up until that point, you know, it was great. And I really hope that 16 takes a lot of what's best from 15 in terms of gameplay and combat, and really just runs with it. If I were to guess, 16 is going to be more like 15 than it is going to be like 7 Remake. I think 7 Remake is like its own style, and I respect that. I respect the fact that they're, you know, they're trying to make 7 Remake as unique as possible from, like, you know, where they're going with the rest of the series. Because it is a remake, and, you know, it is like its own thing. So I think that's cool that they're offering 2 different styles of games and not, you know, giving us the same style of game, you know, in 2 different packages. Like, oh, you know, this is Final Fantasy 16, different characters, different story, different world, but, you know, the gameplay is pretty much the same. I like that they're kind of switching it up gameplay wise as well. I think that's a really good move from them, and yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. And, you know, I still love turn-based combat, but that's what we have Dragon Quest for. Dragon Quest XI's turn-based combat was phenomenal. It was great. I loved it. To me, it was almost as good as like Final Fantasy X's. So I really enjoyed Dragon Quest. That was funny. I really enjoyed the turn-based combat in Final Fantasy, or Dragon Quest XI. So when Dragon Quest 12 comes out, it'll be turn-based for sure, and I'm happy with that. So I'm really happy that what do you call it? Nintendo, or not Nintendo, Final Fantasy is moving into the action RPG genre, because I think that they're finally doing it right with the formula. I think that they had to work out a lot of kinks when they first went over, but now it seems like they're starting to thrive with it, and I'm excited to see more. So yeah, thank you for that, Dark Phoenix. And then the last question I'm going to answer is from Adam Cringeboy. Says, what is one gaming franchise you wish you could get into but never could? It's funny because we were just talking about turn-based combat and RPGs and JRPGs. Persona, for some reason, like, you would think that I would want to get into it. You would think that it would be like perfect for me, based on my love for JRPGs and turn-based combat. But for some reason, I haven't started, and I don't know why. I like the music a lot. I don't necessarily hate the you know, the themes and character design and everything. I don't like it as much as Final Fantasy, but I don't hate it. I think that it has its own like unique look to it and everything. I'm not opposed to it. So you would think, like on paper, that I would go and start playing all the games. I did play some of 3. I didn't finish it, but you know what I remember, I liked it. It was a long time ago, long time ago, back when it came out. So you know, I just don't understand why I haven't really gotten into it as much as I have with Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. But yeah, I one of these days I'm gonna play Persona 5, and I'm probably gonna feel stupid that I didn't play it sooner, because I'm gonna like it, and you know, that's really all there is to it. I just don't know why I haven't gotten into it. There seems like there's just no reason why I should you know, not be playing it based on my personal interests and style of games that I enjoy. You know, because the JRPG is my favorite genre of game. I don't understand why I wouldn't want to play Persona, or haven't played Persona, which is, you know, like in the big three of JRPGs alongside Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, which are, like I said, I love those franchises. Like, I have, you know, vested interests in both of those franchises, but I just don't know why I haven't gotten to Persona. But I feel like as soon as I sit down and play Persona 5, I'm going to love it. And then I'm going to be like, why didn't I play this sooner? So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. Let me know if you like this length, around 20-30 minutes. I feel like when I listen to podcasts or like watch videos, that's like my personal attention span. So I like to keep it around that time. If you guys agree, let me know in the comments. As always, drop a comment on all your opinions on everything we talked about today. And again, make sure you subscribe to UCast Studios. And I'll see you guys next week for another episode. Have a great day. Deuces. I don't know why I did a thumbs up there. I'm supposed to do this. Deuces.